Hello, I'm Juliana Arias, and today I would like to discuss why The Catcher in the Rye should be included next academic year. The novel The Catcher in the Rye, written by J.D. Salinger in 1951, has become very famous among teenagers. Around 250,000 copies are sold each year, with a total of 65 million sales. It is about Holden Caulfield, a 17-year-old boy who lives in New York and narrates his own story from a mental hospital or sanatorium. He experiences a lot of different situations before he ended up at that hospital. He didn't know what he wanted and often felt depressed and lonely. Some people think it should be included in next year's English class. Some people think it should not be included in next year's English class. I personally think it should definitely be included. The Catcher in the Rye is a book that will offer you ways to improve your analyzing and interpreting skills, and ninth graders would easily connect the book to adolescents, and for three main reasons. The first one, The Catcher in the Rye forces you to analyze and interpret. Some things in the book do not appear literally. You have to dig deeper to understand what they mean. Symbols such as the red hunting hat, the dogs at the lake, the museum, and the carousel do not appear literally. You have to first understand what they mean and then connect them to what Holden is feeling at the moment. And you don't only have to understand the symbols, you most importantly have to understand why the author decided to name the book that way and what The Catcher in the Rye means to Holden. The ability to analyze and interpret is very important, and I think ninth graders would easily develop this skill with this novel. And it is important because although you understand the information, you may not always find what other people might, and details are always important. Now, while The Catcher in the Rye offers improvement in some skills, ninth graders could also feel something when they read the book. And that brings us to the second reason. Teenagers often feel connected to the protagonist Holden Caulfield. As you may know, The Catcher in the Rye was originally made for adults, but became very famous among teenagers for its use of alienation and anger. Most teenagers tend to live experiences just like Holden, and since ninth graders are in this epoch of life, they would easily connect and relate with him. Most adolescents are vulnerable and feel things just like Holden did. For example, throughout the book, Holden explains how depressed and lonely he feels. He even says one time he wants to die. He also says he doesn't have a purpose in life. He doesn't really fit in and doesn't have any real or deep relationship with anyone, not even his family and the closest friends. But also, teenagers that suffered just like Holden and went over it can relate and connect with him too. At the end of the novel, we can infer Holden is receiving help at a mental hospital or sanatorium, and that he is finally understanding why he feels that way. Some people say teenagers from this century won't be able to connect with Holden, since the book was written in the 50s and times have changed. But I think cases like Holden do appear, just in different circumstances. And ninth graders are able to do all those things I mentioned due to their maturity, and that is the third reason. Ninth graders are mature enough to understand the novel. Although the vocabulary may be aggressive sometimes, ninth graders are able to understand why the author decided to use that language. Vocabulary such as coarse words, swear words, vulgar words, and rude words do appear throughout the novel. But again, the book will be shown to ninth graders and they are able to handle this vocabulary. They may be harsh for some people, especially for children, and that is what worries most to the parents, but it won't be shown to children. And also, although the book does show a depressive view of life, ninth graders could use this as a positive life lesson. They could start to think about their life and their future. They could think about how immature and incorrect Holden's decisions were, since it was Salinger's purpose and objective. They can give their life a meaning. In conclusion, The Catcher in the Rye is a book that will not only help you improve your analyzing and interpreting skills, ninth graders can even connect with the protagonist Holden Caulfield and relate the book to adolescents, and they will be able to do all this due to their maturity. So please, I ask the English department and the bilingual coordinator to check and include The Catcher in the Rye in next year's English class for future ninth graders. I think they have the right and they should be able to enjoy and learn from the novel The Catcher in the Rye, written by J.D. Salinger. Thank you.